50th anniversary of Spring Arbor University, and our next guests have written a book about it. From Spring Arbor, University librarian and Director of Library Services Robbie Bolton, and archivist Susan Panak. Nice to see you.
Welcome. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations on 150 years and on the book.
Yeah, thank you. The book just came out a few weeks ago. May 8th was the release date, and we're excited to share it with people and talk about it with you today.
We've had a lot of events over the last school year, starting in September, and I think they're going to culminate at the end of the summer with another big event, right?
Yeah, I think September 9th they have a gala planned to kind of bookend the 150th anniversary celebration. With that, we're going to do a month-long exhibit in the Ganton Art Gallery with images from the book that we used, along with some objects from the university archives. And that will end with, on September 30th, homecoming. We'll do a book talk and event in the Ganton Art Gallery talking about this book project.
So as librarian and archivist, it's really, it's up to you that there is the history well taken care of that you were able to draw upon. Did the early years of Spring Arbor, were those well preserved?
Well, those early years weren't very well documented. We did not have a yearbook until 1915, but through many friends of the university and alumni, items were donated to the archives that we were able to draw upon and use within the book. And we brought you a signed copy of the book for you and Karen. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I saw this mock-up at the evening at the Arbor, and I know you're hoping to have the book ready by then, but it's out now. It's still warm.
Yeah, anyone interested can get it at www.arbor.edu/150book.
Well, we have a trailer
Yes.
that you brought that gives a little preview of the book. So let's take a look.
In 1873, Spring Arbor Seminary, founded by early pioneers of the Free Methodist Church, opened to meet a distinct need for a school that would teach sound Christian doctrine. In the 1920s, a junior college emerged, later becoming Spring Arbor College in 1963, which then attained university status in 2001.
150 years after the school's original conception, Spring Arbor University maintains its dedication to impart the sound Christian doctrine of the Free Methodist Church to its students. This dedication is embodied by the university's mission statement, better known as the Concept. This book, celebrating the first 150 years of Spring Arbor University, is written by Susan Panak, the university archivist, who has spent over 20 years cultivating the collection of the Spring Arbor University archives.
Along with co-author, Library Director Robbie Bolton, a member of the Spring Arbor University community for 30 years, this book uses a selection of images from the university archival collection to provide a visual sampling of a story of Spring Arbor University.
Awesome. I bet it'll already go into its second printing after your visit today. So being that you're on campus, you have a really good intimate knowledge of the history. Was there anything that surprised you as you researched this book about SAU?
I think it's some of the individual stories of people. Howard Snyder, a former board member and alum, wrote a narrative history of the university about 10, 15 years ago. So we were trying to we're not retelling the history of Spring Arbor University. We're taking photos that we have in the archives. And so we're coming across people's names that we had never heard of before. I think one of them, Susan likes to talk about, and we might have brought a photo of her with us, was I think the photos from the late 1800s, one of the first teachers, not the first, but this is Josephine, Susan, I don't remember her last name, you can...
Chittenden. H. Josephine, oh, there she is, yes. H. Josephine Chittenden. She came in around 1877 with her sister from New York. Her sister was a Free Methodist evangelist, and they came to Spring Arbor to service the students and to teach them, educate them. And this is what, the typical dress of the Free Methodist at the time.
She looks stern,
Yes, she
Yes.
does.
as I'm sure teachers were. That was it.
And this photo here, you probably know this, Bart, but the university mascot, Cougars, Spring Arbor University Cougars. Back in the 40s and 50s, it's unclear from the evidence that we have, at some point the school started calling themselves the Blue Jays in athletic and sporting competitions, athletic events. Here we have an unidentified group of cheerleaders around 1950, and you can see they've got Blue Jays on their sweater.
Well, you think it's a blue jay, but it could be any one of a number of animals.
It is a Blue Jay. But then when Spring Arbor became a 4-year school in the late 60s, they wanted to have a mascot that embodied more of a fighting spirit, and through a student vote and naming process, switched to the Cougars.
That's a strong mascot.
This is one of the stories I had never heard before, but Jackie Evans in 1972-73 from the Battle Creek area, was a Spring Arbor, played on the men's basketball team, scored 61 points in a game. And in the 72-73 season, he averaged 34.5 points a game, and was the top scorer in all of college basketball. Not just NAIA, the entire country, all of college basketball.
Right here?
Right here at Spring Arbor University, 1972-73. He went on, he's being handed like a game ball from a longtime baseball coach and then athletic director Hank Burbridge. But he was even drafted into the NBA by the Baltimore Bullets.
Wow.
So 61 points a game, 34 points in his highest scoring season.
This looks like a sleepy little town.
Yes, that's our sleepy little town of Spring Arbor, taken from the campus. That building used to be a general store, which is now Marino's Pizza in Spring Arbor.
Oh, okay. Yep, and the McDonald's will be on the left.
And this is down Lime Lake, the Falling Waters Trail area, the railroad tracks. There was a train wreck in 1914, and this is the back of a postcard. And the other side, the student, I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Dear Ma, this is a train wreck that happened at Spring Arbor Station. This is the engine, and there were 16 cars burning in a pile. Back of the engine, the cars were full of pigs and one of meat, butter, and eggs. One man was killed. We had no school that day, and we all went to see the wreck."
Oh my gosh.
So this postcard's part of the Zella Emerson collection. We've digitized some of these images at library.arbor.edu. And I think we might have one more photo of Zella
of Zella.
Emerson. She donated a number of the photos that we were able to use from this early time period in the.
And the train was a part that was a big part of the growth of Spring Arbor, having the train go.
Right, because the Jackson train line extended down into Spring Arbor. And I think they might have went down to Hillsdale too. And there was a train station stop right at Falling Waters Trail, right by Lime Lake.
And we've, as you mentioned with the basketball, the athletes have had some famous people come through Spring Arbor, graduate from Spring Arbor, visit and speak at Spring Arbor. Who are some of the names that
Some of the dignitaries, and we had a couple photos we found from the 80s and early 90s, but we had more recently, we didn't include him in the book, we had Ben Carson on campus, presidential candidate, I think 2015. President Ellis had invited him. In 1992, we had sitting Vice President Dan Quayle on campus, and a few years before that, we had Jeffrey Feiger to talk in a colloquium about assisted suicide, who later then ran for governor a few years after that.
And I believe Gerald Ford was at our first
Gerald Ford, yeah.
college commencement.
Yeah, and I remember people like Red Poling and others who have been a big part of Spring Arbor. You've had some notable trustees over the years too. The SAS that we saw in the banner, so Spring Arbor, as most of our viewers know, was Spring Arbor College before Spring Arbor University, but before Spring Arbor College, what was it?
Spring Arbor High School and Junior College. We initially started as Spring Arbor Seminary. And then as we added the higher grades, then we changed the name.
And it's not just Spring Arbor University that has its roots in Spring Arbor. There are a couple other universities.
Hillsdale College, and that general store that we saw was used as a dormitory when Hillsdale College was on campus. And before that, Albion College was located in Spring Arbor, but they did not build on the actual site. that we're at now.
Now, of course, everyone knows Spring Arbor. It is a sleepy little town, but that's part of your charm. And one of the reasons that Spring Arbor was chosen to plant a school. It was not, I've heard the story a couple different ways, but the people that started Spring Arbor as a school, there was nothing there, right?
Correct, because there was 2 vacant buildings that was left behind by Hillsdale College. And the early Free Methodist pioneers came to Spring Arbor and thought it would be a good location to start a school.
And this book is going to be available anywhere. Right now, it's online.
Yeah, you can find it on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yep.
And you've got a special event with the book at the Ganton Art Gallery.
All month of September, we'll have a book exhibit on display, and September 30th, we'll be doing a formal book talk.
Awesome. How exciting. Is this your first book?
My first book.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So are you going to do book signings and things like that?
We signed your copy.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, we did.
Well, thanks. And I like to ask people, local authors, about their books. Am I in it?
You're not. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Father.
No, I wouldn't expect to be in it, but there's so many
You
cool
could
things.
be in the 2nd edition.
Oh, that's okay. The 2nd edition. This segment could be part of the
Yes,
second.
As long as we
Could
got a
be.
good photo of it to use.
That's right.
All right. Well, it's really amazing. The photos, you seem to have found some very well preserved. You're doing a good job as archivist,
Thank you very
librarian.
much. Yes.
Thank you, Bart.
Well, thanks for coming in, and congratulations on your book.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Great to be here.
Hot off the presses, the history of Spring Arbor University, from the Campus History series, available now and at arbor.edu/SU150book. Thanks to the authors, Susan Panak and Robbie Bolton. Well, it's a big week for